I got something delivered last week, and I'm very excited about it. So what we have here is a hangboard, and this is a great implement to train your fingertips. So it's mainly used in sports like climbing to train for climbing, but I figured it's still really good for something like kettlebell sport because, let's face it, we use our fingertips quite a bit when we're doing the snatch. So if anything, this is only helpful for kettlebell sport. So let's install it. Okay, so the idea is that the hangboard is gonna have to be mounted on this piece of wood, but I want to mount it on the top of my squat rack because I really don't want to have to mount it into the concrete wall and just poke holes in my concrete wall. So that's what I'm going to do, but the idea is I still want to be able to use my pull-up bar. So I'm not going to have much clearance here. So what I'll do is take this board, put it on there we go, put it on another piece of 2x4 here to give it just a little bit extra room so I still have plenty of room to use my pull-up bar if I need to. So instead of using the original bolts that came with the squat rack, I got some much longer ones to obviously compensate for the fact that I'm adding a lot more wood in between. Okay, so that was a lot more tedious than I thought it was going to be, but it's up now. It should hold my weight. We're good. I'm going to go take a shower.
3 weeks later.
Alright, so it's been a couple of weeks now that I've had this up, and I just realized actually that I'm wearing the same t-shirts, so funny coincidence, I actually didn't plan that. Now, the reason I bought a hangboard was because I'm getting more into climbing lately and I want to get stronger fingers and climb better. But then I also thought the interesting similarity between climbing and kettlebell sport, and that they're both power endurance sports. With climbing, you need to have a good amount of power in your hands, but you also need to endure that over your route that you're climbing or the problem that you're climbing, so you need to be able to keep that amount of power in your hands but over a longer duration, so hence the endurance aspect of it. With kettlebell sport, obviously that's very much true as well, especially with the snatch or clean, where we need to actually have that strength and power in our hands when we catch the kettlebell, but endurance as well, because we need to endure that over several minutes. One of the ways that we can train that is with a fingerboard. Now, should everybody use a hangboard? No. It is not for everybody, okay? So for me, I've been doing grip training for many years actually. So I've developed a base of strength in my hands and forearms. So somebody who's very, very new to grip training or new to climbing or anything like that should not be jumping right to a hangboard. So make sure that you have a base of strength first before you jump into hangboard training. So first thing is first, you want to make sure that you're properly warmed up in your hands before you start your training session. So oftentimes when climbers anyways use a fingerboard, they tend to do that towards the end of their session when they're very, very warmed up. With kettlebell sport, you can tend to do this at the end of your session as well, after you've done your snatching and your jerks and so on, so that you're already warmed up in the hands. Now, there are multiple types of grip positions that you can use in a fingerboard. The most common is a open crimp grip. So that is when your hand is relatively wide open and you're just holding on with your fingertips. Now, the one grip that you should never use with a fingerboard is a full crimp grip. Puts a heck of a lot of tension in your A2 pulleys in your fingers. You don't really need to know what that means, but what it means is that if you utilize a full crimp position, you're really putting yourself at risk for injury, so do not use that grip. Now in a fingerboard, you're gonna have different types of holds where some are easier to hold on to, some are harder to hold on to. So for now, when you're first starting this off, use the easier ones. Another thing that you want to watch out for is that when you're hanging on a hangboard, you want to make sure that your shoulders are still active. Okay, you don't want to just hang loose and just let your shoulders just droop all the way into it, okay? So that's going to put a lot of tension on your passive structures in your shoulders. You're going to hurt yourself. Don't do that. Similar to how when you're doing pull-ups and you're at the dead hang position, you're not just relaxing completely, you're still engaged. So I still want you to stay engaged when you're hanging from the hangboard. So give this a shot right now where you're still engaged in your shoulders. So hold on to the easiest parts and just hang there, but keep your feet on the floor. As that gets easier, put your feet up a little bit, which makes it a little bit harder. Now, a good way to start with fingerboard training for kettlebell sport is find a position where your feet are either on the floor or up, but where you can actually hold on to the grip for about 15 seconds. So 15 seconds should be about your max. Now, with that in mind and that position found, what you're gonna do is do sets of 12 seconds in that position. After you've done 12 seconds, rest for a good 3 minutes. Then do that 5 times. That is 1 set. In between sets, rest about 5 minutes. Do a total of 2 to 5 sets. And this routine can be done once or twice a week. So that routine is a great routine just to help get some base strength into your fingers. And already there you might notice a great improvement in your grip strength and endurance when you start doing kettlebell snatches. Now, an interesting way how you can use the fingerboard to really mimic kettlebell sport training, specifically snatch, is by matching your snatch tempo to the tempo on the fingerboard. So, for example, let's say I'm doing a set of kettlebell snatches at 12 reps per minute. Well, then I know that every 5 seconds I'm doing 1 rep. The part of the snatch where we're actually catching the kettlebell, swinging, and bringing it back up, I think that's about a full second, for instance. Actually, let's try. I think it's a full second, but we're just gonna time it for sure. Okay, so, about a second, okay. So now that I know for my pace and how I snatch with the kettlebell, it takes me about 1 second where I'm actually utilizing my grip, I can use that information to translate to the fingerboard. And now what I can do is do a set of, let's say, 5 minutes on the fingerboard, but every 5 seconds, I hold on to it for 1 second. So this way it really mostly resembles a kettlebell snatch, and that can help transfer a little bit better to your kettlebell snatching. All right, I think that's it for this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment below if this is something that you've tried, and if so, what are the results? So let me know, and we will see you next time.